Good evening. As world leaders meet in New York during the United Nations General Assembly, I've taken this special moment to appeal to our leaders to take decisive action to end the human crisis in Myanmar. Over 1,300,000 Rohingya Moslems in Myanmar face extinction at the hands of the Myanmar military. When the United Nations was created, the expectation was that the UN was going to set as a priority world peace. A threat on any human being anywhere is a threat on all human beings everywhere. It will be against the expectation of the United Nations insofar as the purpose for which it was created is concerned. If our leaders decide to look away from the situation in Myanmar, women and children are being raped by the Myanmar military. The situation has reached a crisis proportion. There is mass exodus affecting the Rohingya Moslems. Hundreds of thousands have been massacred, and the world has looked away. Look at the situation in Syria. Look at the situation in Iraq. And I want our leaders, as they meet, to ask themselves one question. Is it worthy for them to have very expensive cocktail parties during the United Nations General Assembly when millions of women, men, and children are dying every day because the world has looked away? Remember when the 6 million Jews were massacred by the Nazi Germany? The world looked away. Remember when many people died during the wars in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Many people died. The world looked away. Remember the genocide in Rwanda. Tutsis and Hutus who took up arms one against the other. Again, hundreds of thousands died, and the human crisis affecting millions ensued. The world looked away. Today, there are many children and women who are being brutalized around the world. The world is looking away. If our leaders can set as a priority to want to target to destroy North Korea, how then should it be difficult? Why must it be difficult for them to decide to end the human crisis everywhere in the world? Man has become an enemy to himself or herself. We cannot afford, as human beings who are made in the image of God, to continue to destroy ourselves and this world which God gave to us. The issue of human security cuts across religion, it cuts across our beliefs, it cuts across creed. And therefore, whenever any human being is threatened, everybody must get together in order to end anything which is a threat to human survival. And I want to seize this occasion to make a passionate appeal to the United States of America, President Donald Trump. Let us learn from what happened in Japan, Hiroshima. The survivors of that nuclear attack are still there. Some of them are still there. Japan, and indeed the entire world is still trying to recover from that catastrophe. We cannot continue on the path of creating human-made catastrophes. Otherwise, we risk extinction. And it would be irresponsible for human beings who are made in the image of God to want to destroy themselves. It's not about how powerful or how weak a nation is. It's about human survival. And when it comes to human survival, we need to deploy resources. We need to synergize our competencies so that we can create a synergy which is going to make this world worthy living in, not just for us, but also for future generations to come. I ask you with great humility, I may not have the power, but all I have is a voice. And I pray that may the many other voices that are coming from the privacy of the homes of the people, the voices of those women and children who are crying, looking for a solution, be heard. Let not our leaders look away from the crisis involving the over 1,300,000 Rohingya Muslims. Let the world act and end this human crisis. It will not be helpful to this world for humanity to survive if all we want is to look at winner takes all, where the powerful do not care what happens to the weak. But I want to let you know, look at terrorism around the world. Even the most powerful nations today, they face the risk of extinction through terrorism, which has become a central issue for human survival or human security. War is not just the absence of peace. The many people around the world who are not in employment, especially young people, may equally pose a danger. If the world does not invest in the people, there can never be a better investment than investing in the people. The international community must set priorities. We don't want to have a United Nations that spends billions of dollars in taking care of the huge pay that goes to the staff of the United Nations. As President Donald Trump has put it, that the United Nations has great potential. But the potential of the UN will only be appreciated or fully tapped if the United Nations addresses human problems around the world. Let the United Nations re-engineer and rediscover its potential so that whenever human crises emerge, look at the Congo DRC, our neighboring country here in Zambia. There's a serious crisis there. Now, just because of the mineral resources that are in the Congo DRC, the international community has looked away. Because the powerful men that want to take advantage of the situation like it that way. Whatever diamonds or the gold that you're getting from there is of blood. And I can assure you, even the most powerful who want to survive on blood, diamonds or gold of Africa, they equally face a risk, because I can assure you, they will not enjoy that wealth. Because the same people, the same human beings who are facing extinction will also become a danger to the entire world. Terrorists are thriving on the poverty of many young people. And poverty is not just lack of access, sustained access to the basic needs, but also lack of access to information. So we need to educate young people. We need to educate men and women on what is before us as the nations of the world. The international community must therefore get together and address human crises. We cannot be our own enemies. So once again, I ask you, our leaders, to attend to the issues that are affecting the women and children especially who are being raped in Myanmar. The Nobel Peace Prizes should not just be as a matter of ceremony. The Nobel Peace Prizes that are given to our leaders or those that are recognized, they must be appreciated only when results are on the ground. It is therefore very sad that whereas some individuals have been able to get the Nobel Peace Prize over the situation in Myanmar, but we have seen that today the crisis still exists. What is going on is cleansing. And let world leaders act to save those innocent lives of Rohingya Muslims who are sleeping in the bush, in the waters, in the swamps, because there's no one to care. Wherever they try to settle, the Myanmar military moves in to burn down their dwellings. This cannot be allowed. I believe that if the international community is able to put the resources, we can address the human security problems everywhere in the world, not just in Myanmar, though this is a priority. Thank you. May God bless our world.